Momentos, por favor. And are we live?
I think we are.
I think we are. All right, this meeting is being live streamed. All right, we'll pass the torch on to Peter Gantner and our good friend Chad Miller, and y'all have fun now. You hear?
We will. I'm out here in Texas, so I got to start talking a little bit different. But
yeah, I noticed that.
See, I'm already starting to get a tan. I'm not even trying.
Yeah, you're looking good, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm looking at this right now. I see if someone's new on here, I'm thinking they're thinking like, what's up with the rocket ships and the other verse and the big goggles and the Martians and the QR codes. I mean, wow. If you just think a few years ago, people would have probably thought we were crazy, Peter. But here's what I've learned about crazy people is the ones that are massively successful down the road sometimes are a little crazy in the short term, a little crazy now. And I like to hang out with the crazy people, not the normal. Normal's kind of boring. Normal's kind of average, cream of the crap. No, maybe not that. But anyway, I'm just excited to be here. I am excited every single time, Peter, I get to hear you speak. I learn more about cryptocurrency. I learn more about the blockchain. I learn more, and I'm more convinced every time that the greatest wealth transfer ever in history, in our history, is happening. And it's going to happen moving forward with the blockchain. And we're going to have more millionaires created than ever before, billionaires. And not just that, but people who literally don't really have much of a chance because of the poverty that they've lived in for generations. Some of those people are going to be able to be pulled out of poverty because of this just leveling the playing field for everybody. So I'm just excited, Peter. I love your vision. I love that you want as many people to win as possible. And I love that. It's so upside down. It really is a servant's heart, a servant leadership. I know that service to many leads to greatness. And I think a lot of people through the vehicle of Nexus ecosystem are going to become great. And you're just the perfect person to be the captain of the ship. So without further ado, Peter, would you take a few minutes and tell everybody what Nexus ecosystem is? What do you mean by other verse behind you? Why do I have Martians behind me? And why is these rockets just taking off all over the place? Can you share that with us?
We sure will. Yeah. So if I was to give you the 90-second elevator pitch of what the Nexus ecosystem is, and I'm going to put it in nautical terms. It is the lighthouse that sits on the shore that guides the ships into port when they get close enough to land, whether it's stormy, no matter what, it helps guide those ships so they can get into port. That's what we're doing for everyday average people that are in this space. There are people who are experts in the crypto space. They're experts in blockchain. They can sit down and analyze and look at companies and get in depth with that, right? I talked to one yesterday, right? They called us. They said, hey, we want to get involved with you guys. They have done over 535 deals in regular finance. They looked at a group of companies. They narrowed it down to we are one of the ones that they were interested in talking to. They are in traditional finance, and they're literally pouring in, they're talking to me about their minimum is 5 million. Their maximum they'll put in up for something is 500 million, right? They're serious about this, and they just jumped into it about 5 months ago, and they've already put together about 30 deals. Okay. Now, this is someone who's been around 30 years. I actually talked to one of my friends. They said, yep, one of my buddies did a huge deal with them. They came through. They're fantastic to work with, right? Because I'm doing my due diligence on this side of it. The day before that, we were contacted by another firm, 52 employees, a Canadian company that said, hey, we want to get involved with you guys. We promote regular stocks, regular financial instruments. We want to talk to you about promoting your projects and what you're doing. And so we're talking to them. They've sent over a proposal for that type of stuff. So what's happening in the background is the core institutions that were already there are positioning themselves to take advantage of the future of what's going on. And I was talking to somebody and they said, well, I think crypto has the potential to be big and the blockchain might, be this big thing someday. And so they're doing a little bit of positioning themselves. Myself, I don't think. I know that the blockchain is going to be and change the world. And it's not on my, it's not like, oh, I'm getting a tingly in my leg when I think about blockchain or cryptocurrency. I've looked at the facts. I've looked at the basics of what it can deliver and the problems that it solves, and look and said, you know what, this is better than the system that the internet is working over. So real quick, if you're listening to this, most of us are pretty fed up with the big corporations, right? The Facebooks and the Googles and the selling our information, right? Monetizing us. Here's, you got Zuck over there buying a $200 million piece of land in Hawaii. They've made fortunes off it. Matter of fact, while we were all going through the pandemic, most of us struggling, the internet giants got wealthier and wealthier and wealthier because they said you can't have your mom and pop store open, but these centralized mega corporations could stay open and they could monetize. And so instead of having the small business competition, it was narrowed down, and they made absolute fortunes during that. And the reason why is because today's internet is completely centralized. There are small groups of companies that control the entire thing, and the rest of us are using it, and we're paying a price either with their data or information or access to things. Why is crypto going to be as big as it is in the blockchain? Because the blockchain is going to allow for Web 3.0 to come into effect. Now, crypto in itself directly is not Web 3.0. Crypto is the representation of the companies that are building. So if you wanted to get wealthy in the internet days, when Jeff Bezos took Amazon public, you would have bought some stock and you would have held on to it for the last 25 years, right? 24 years, whatever it's been since he went public, right? 26, whatever that is. And today your shares would be worth way more than when you bought them, right? They had ups and downs, but they're worth way more today. Crypto is the replacement of that stock when it comes to it, except it has additional utility to it. I can't take my Amazon stock and go buy a pair of jeans on Amazon with my Amazon stock. I can take a crypto. Let's say there becomes let's say there becomes the largest global online seller, which is completely decentralized and completely crypto based. They would have a cryptocurrency. I would be able to use that crypto, that digital asset, to buy my jeans along with probably fiat and other cryptos, right? So there's an additional use to it. I'm going on a mission here, guys, over the next few months to show people the proof of why blockchain is our future and why it will create more value in our lives than the internet has to this day. Now, I got to tell you, me and my wife barely go to stores anymore. We go every 2-3 weeks, right? We'll have to go to Walmart or Costco or whatever. Almost everything comes to our house. Now, if we think about that, the chance of going and getting in the car and driving to the store, that takes, 10, 15, 20 minutes. We live in a small town. So if we want to go anywhere except for Target and the grocery store, we want to go to Walmart, we got to drive 20, 25 minutes to get there, 20, 25 minutes home, an hour in the store. I'm using up 2 hours of my time. My time is the most precious commodity that I have in the world. A matter of fact, back in the day, before the internet came along, I used to go and I would go to Kinko's when I wanted to have a business meeting. So back in the day, Chad's a little younger, so he would have been like 12 at the time. I'm a little older, but I would have paid $100 an hour to go to Kinko's, right? That's what it was called, right? Just Kinko's, not FedEx Kinko's. And I would go in a little room and they would have broadcasting software there, and I could have a digital meeting. The other people would either have to have the software or they would go somewhere and we'd have it. Otherwise, I had to travel or talk on the telephone. Now I'm sitting in my office. We have, 10 people on here. We have, who knows how many people watching it on YouTube, Before, for me to broadcast anything to an audience, I had to go on ABC, NBC, CBS, or one of the cable channels, right? And I had to broadcast in that way. Now I'm able to have a television station in my office. I can broadcast this stuff. It's costing me pennies to talk to people all over the world, have things delivered to my house. I can order food online. I can find out when a store opens and closes. I don't have to do all the crazy stuff that we had to do. That's the value that the internet created for me, right? And because of that, in 1994, Jeff Bezos had the idea of selling stuff online. At that time, there were only about 10,000 websites. 10,000 websites, and computers connected to the entire internet globally was only around 20 million computers, 24 million computers connected globally. Today, I believe it's 6 or 7 billion, okay? But in that day, he said, wait a minute, this internet thing is going to be big. He had the vision, he saw it. He said, wait a minute, if Peter and Lori Gantner can have products delivered to their house, they would rather do that than take their time and go to the store. One day, Peter doesn't want to go to Kinko's and sit in a little room and pay $100 an hour to do it. He would rather broadcast from his home out to the world and to be able to communicate and do business. So now we're here. We are in 2022, and we are looking at it and saying, wait a minute, there is a better way of doing the internet. It is called Web 3.0. There's a better way. And why is it better? Because it's decentralized. Instead of a smaller group of people controlling it, it's the people that are using it have the control, decision making, and that type of stuff. So it puts the freedom back. It's a fairer, better, balanced way of being able to run this thing we call the internet. And things that make a lot of money, and for the ladies that are on here, Spanx, okay? Now, she's a billionaire because she said, wait a minute, right? Want a little better figure. So I'm going to create this thing that there were girdles around before, but she recreated it in a way that millions, tens of millions of ladies said, I'm going to buy that product because it solves a problem for me that I need to solve, right? And they bought it, and it made her a billionaire. Solving problems are an incredible way to become wealthy. It's the best way to become wealthy, is solving problems. So if the blockchain solves most of all the problems that exist on the current internet, and the technology of the blockchain is going to build Web 3.0, then what do you think the opportunity is to be into the blockchain? Now you're going, that's fantastic, right? So now you could go to school and become a blockchain developer. You can start a company. No, you don't have to. There is this thing called crypto, which is the representation of the value that the blockchain is creating in this world. What you need to figure out is, who is the genius blockchain person? Who is the team that's going to that believe in it and have the vision, as just like Jeff Bezos had in 1994 and said, this internet thing's going to be big. I think I'll name my website after a river, right? He didn't pick just a river. He picked the biggest river in the world, right? The Amazon. Why? Because he had the concept and the idea that he was going to build the largest channel for channel, not meaning television channel, but largest throughput of selling products to people around the globe, when there were literally 24 million computers connected to the internet, and the majority of those were education and governments. Before millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, billions of people got online, he had that vision, right? And he took a chance. You don't have to take that chance today. He went and found 20 people who said, and it was 20 people he needed to raise $1 million, right, to help grow his business. He was driving his own car. He was actually driving the packages to the post office himself. He'd load up his Toyota, put the packages in the trunk, all the books he was shipping at that time, and would drive to the post office and unload them and ship them. Now, I got to tell you, in those days, there were some people started getting involved in the internet because they thought it might be something good. And then there were people like Jeff Bezos that saw the future and said, it is going to change the world. So I'm going to dig in. Let's go before that. There was a gentleman by the name of Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. Bill Gates and Steve Jobs saw the personal computer. There were some people who thought, well, maybe at some point they'll be good for businesses and some people will use them. There were two people, though, that said everybody is going to have a computer on their desk by the year, 2000 or whatever it would be, right? I'm on a laptop right now. You're probably on either a phone or some type of device. Again, people that were not, they were convinced that they built massive wealth for themselves. Why do I keep bringing these up? Because there's a difference in those days and today. In the crypto space, the people that are building the blockchain have realized one thing that's a little bit different than before. Before, good team, great product in a growing area, you could market and sell customers. You build enough customers, you build massive wealth. And I need investors, by the way, to finance this thing. Here's today. It's called blockchain. It's called cryptocurrency. Blockchain says, I need a community to support my project. So the community is as important as the product and as important as the people running the team. So instead of saying the founders and the investors hold all the cards and get to make the majority of the money that's created from this solution, from this value, crypto and blockchain says we need a community. So we're going to allow the community to control and make the most benefit with the success of this project. It's why right now, when Bitcoin hits $100,000, there will be more Bitcoin billionaires. Over 50% of all the billionaires in the world would have been created by Bitcoin, not the internet, not real estate, not business founders, not owners, people that said, hey, this crypto thing is going to be big. I'm going to accumulate it. I'm going to hold on to it. And I'm going to wait for it to get to $100,000. Something that was started right around 13 years ago, right? Created that much wealth. Now, this has changed because some young kid came around 18 years old and said, wait a minute, there's this thing called smart contracts where we can take it from just a digital asset that is an instrument for finance, and we can do a lot more with these smart contracts with this thing called the blockchain. We can run dApps on it. And you're probably like, what's a dApp? It's a decentralized app. An app sits on somebody's server and is controlled. There are right now, just spoke to a team, they're not building anything centralized anymore, nothing on servers. How do you guys think Amazon makes all its money? It's called AWS. AWS is a buildings and buildings and buildings of computing power and people that want to run websites. So more than likely we're on AWS right now, right? Or Google, and people pay them access to that. Imagine a decentralized network where a dApp is running on tens of thousands of computers. The people that are running those with their spare space, spare hard drives, spare computer processing power. Do you guys think there's more computing power in the hands of companies, or is there more computing power in the hands of people? I'm going to check and get the facts, but I believe there's more computing power in the hands of people. So if I look at our house, I have 1, 2, 3, me and my wife, there's 2 of us. We have 6 computers that are on all the time. We have 2 phones, right? So that's like 8 devices for 2 people, right? So we probably have more computing power. With my computers, I'm maybe using a couple percent, 5, 10% of the power, right? Because we always overdo, right? I mean, look, most of us use our phones for phone calls, getting online and stuff, and we have something here that could probably run a small business right in our hands. So think about all the phones that are out there, the unused potential there and all that stuff. So think about building a decentralized where instead of tens of billions in dollars in revenue going to Amazon for using it, that money is split up to us, the people that are allowed to support that network and control it. And it's safer. Why is it safer? Because it's decentralized. If it's a centralized thing and I'm a hacker, I only need to hack one or maybe 2 or 3 places and I can get access to a network. If you have a decentralized network out there and it's 5 billion computers, 1 billion computers, 100 million computers, I would have to hack what? 51% of the network to get access to it. I would have to figure out if there's, let's say, 100,000 computers on it, I would have to hack 51,000 devices in order to take control of the network. This is the reason why I am absolutely convinced that Web 3.0. So we have dApps now, right? Decentralized apps. Don't think there won't be websites, decentralized websites. They're already selling names on decentralized things. So right now, I like to think I own the name, right, for my companies. I don't. I'm renting it. I have to pay a fee every year to renew it. And if I don't, they get it back. So do you guys realize we do not own the names of our websites? We're renting them. In a decentralized world, you would be able to buy the name of the website and own it outright in a decentralized world. You wouldn't have to pay a renewal fee. You wouldn't have to pay rental for it. It would belong to you. This is already happening. There's .eth, there's different things that are coming up where you can buy, and they're sold in the form of NFTs, right? That have that name that connect it together. I can go on and on and on. Last week, I talked about how it's helping in food safety, in the medical field. In hospitals, every single day, people die because of allergic reactions to medicines, right? 2 medicines conflicting, that type of thing. Imagine a decentralized mechanism that solves that problem where it doesn't happen. Mortgage fraud, identity theft. All of these are problems. They're not solved yet, guys, but people are moving in that direction. One of the things I love about a decentralized world is imagine being able to borrow money without having to disclose who you are, but yet the lender knows you're somebody who pays their bills because they've built a decentralized network that proves and shows who I am, what my past has done, how much I've paid, and what I've done. This is the direction that this is heading in. This is why in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, this will be the biggest transfer of wealth. Not because right now people are speculating on cryptos. It's the reason for us to form. Now I'm going to go back to Nexus, okay? Why did we form Nexus? Because I don't have to find, to be wealthy today, right? If in 1995, I would have put a couple $1,000s in Amazon and left it there. A few years later, a couple $1,000s into Priceline. A few years later, a few thousand into eBay. A little while later, a few thousand into Google. So I could have taken 20, 30 grand, couple thousand, put it in 15 companies. And right now, today, I could have a Ferrari in the driveway, right? Big mansion, have it all, right? But the key is this, is I, at that time, would have had to figure out, more than likely on my own, which of those companies had a Jeff Bezos behind it, which was dedicated and driven and was going to push and make things happen. I believe that the people that did that were people who knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody, right? It's kind of like, what is that saying? It's not what you know, it's who you know. So some of us get lucky and we might have a cousin or an uncle or an aunt or a brother or sister, whatever, that is just brilliant and they have information that can help guide them and they've made fortunes before. But for the vast majority of us, we don't have that. So what's the solution? It's the power of community. the power of many minds, many people coming together and being able to function as a unit that has a very narrow purpose. What's the narrowest purpose? That narrow purpose is to build digital wealth assets for each and every single person in the community by our behavior and actions that we take to be part of it. Right? The behavior is to not jump in and out of companies like you do change your underwear every day, hopefully, right? It's that you find ones that you believe in. You know, you could have bought $10,000 worth of Amazon stock the day it went public and still be poor today. You know how? Is if you sold it 6 months later or a year later and just spent the money. Just because you bought it at the right time, last year in April, you could have bought a Bored Ape Yacht NFT. And if you sold it before the end of April, you would not have an NFT worth a few $100,000. You wouldn't have gotten a couple $100,000 airdrop. You would not be wealthy. As a matter of fact, you could have gotten in Bitcoin because there was somebody who did, and he bought 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin. He got 2 pizzas. Today, if he held on to that, I believe it would be worth $300 million. But instead of holding it, instead of believing in it, look, he couldn't have believed in it, right? Why? Because he said, I'm willing to trade these 10,000 for 2 pizzas. And that's what people are doing every single day in the crypto space. They are trading their crypto for 2 pizzas or 1 pizza because they're not connecting with a community of people that have a common purpose, a common goal, that are saying, let's do this together. We're all going to hold. We're going to do what's necessary. We're going to build for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I believe that in the next 3 to 5 years, there will be tens of millions of people that will be absolutely financially independent that are struggling right now or just getting by, that in the next 3 to 5 years, maybe 6 at the most, will be financially set. And those are the people that start to believe today on what the potential of the blockchain, Web 3.0, and crypto as the representation of the value that's created. Those are the people that are going to do it. And I believe a lot of those people are going to come from a company called the Nexus ecosystem, a project. And the reason why is we're going and sitting down with the founders and the owners of these projects and finding out what's happened. When I was talking to the company, the financial company, this is a big company, very successful. They said they're going out to projects that they analyze. They have a way to analyze it, okay, to say this project has huge potential, huge upside. By the way, they did pick True Badger as one of them. That's why we were on the phone with them, right? This is the one that they looked at the track record. They looked at everything and said, this is one that has huge potential. Out of the 20,000 that are out there, we were one of the group that they picked to make an offer to, okay, that they want to get involved with. And that group right there is billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of wealth. And they chose one of our projects to get into with to move things forward. I lost my train of thought there a little bit because I'm thinking about, because we are going to move forward with them with Otherverse. There it is right there. Boom. I'm lining up the call right now because this is going to be the #1 metaverse in the world. This is going to be it. The metaverse, a 8 to $13 trillion opportunity by 2030 by GPS, which is a Citibank owned company. Okay. $8 to $13 trillion. I want to tell you what size it is. The entire world automobile industry is only 2 trillion on a yearly basis. 2. They're talking 8 to 13, 4 times larger than the entire automobile industry by 2030. How valuable could be the number 1, the number 2, the number 3, the number 5 player in this space. 17 years experience in the space, pioneered the space. And along with Web 3.0, guys, the metaverse is right there with it. Web 3.0 is part of it. The decentralized side of it is part of what we're talking about when we start talking about Web 3.0, metaverses, and putting all that stuff together. But in order to get right now involved with Otherverse, you need to be what? An accredited investor in the US and Canada. If you're outside the US, you can get involved not being an accredited investor, but you need a KYC. But there is a way in the US and Canada to be not an accredited investor and benefit from the growth of Otherverse. That is to acquire True Badger tokens. Because we're a consulting business, which is part of the Nexus ecosystem, right? I don't want to confuse everybody. Nexus, one of our projects, True Badger, working with Otherverse to help them bring their project into the crypto space. True Badger's getting paid in Otherverse tokens. We are what's called a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization, formed out of the Marshall Islands. So that everything that belongs to the DAO belongs to the DAO holders. Who are the DAO holders? The people who hold True Badger tokens. It's simple. Bing, 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 bam. We're working on another project with an author that has sold nearly 500 million books. Working on another project to change Hollywood, right? To reinvent, recreate the ways that movies are made, giving more people an opportunity, democratizing and decentralizing through the entity that we're starting, a DAO that's going to support that company, democratizing and decentralizing the movie industry. How many people on here are like me? I'd love to see my name up there, Peter Gantner, executive producer, right? Without having to put up $1 million or $5 million to be an executive producer. And we're going to have ways for you to be able to do that and be a part of it, right? We're getting ready to do an NFT series. Over 100 people will get a speaking role in a film through this NFT series. How many people here would love to have a speaking role in a film? Like you get a SAG card, right? You literally get your SAG card. You are an actor. You'll get it. IMDb thing. You can go to people and they go, what do you do for a living? I'm an actor. And then when they go, oh, well, what did you act in? You tell them the movie and say, hey, go on IMDb and look me up. I'm a speaking actor in a not an extra, an actual speaking role in a film. Imagine that. Imagine those type of things being able to happen. This is the value of blockchain, decentralization, and it is why this is going to be the greatest transfer of wealth in human history. It is your opportunity right now. So a little over 6 years ago, I started on a path of saying community is commerce. And there's over 30 million people in the US alone that are over the age of 55 years old that have less than $25,000 in retirement savings. Now, I didn't think I could help everybody, right? But I thought we could take 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 of those people, 100,000 of those people, and through collaboration, through the idea of community, helping entrepreneurs help successfully launch businesses, bring products to the marketplace, that we could help tens of thousands of people become financially free. I've upgraded that now. I believe with what is happening right here with crypto, with blockchain, we can help hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that are sitting there right now going, I don't know how we're going to retire. Susan, I don't know how we're going to retire in 10 years, right? Because life is just, kids and weddings and all this crazy stuff that happens in life, the car breaking down, gas prices going to over $5 a gallon, right? Whatever it is, getting so tired and worn out, we got to go on that vacation and then coming back and putting on the credit cards and interest and just the way life gets in the way. This is the opportunity right here for those people to make it. And I'll give you some real examples. We had somebody buy one Bitcoin in 2013 for a little over $100. I believe it was 108. he was able to cash it out about a year ago, 10 months ago, for $60,000. Another woman 3 years ago put $2,000 in Ethereum. Ethereum price went down dramatically. Instead of selling it, she just said, forget it. I'm just going to leave it there. Able to cash out for, again, over. There's a place in Puerto Rico called Bitcoin Beach. Bitcoin Beach. There are tons, hundreds of people that are Bitcoin millionaire and billionaires because they put a few $1,000s early on in Bitcoin and they held on to it. And today they are financially set. This is the most phenomenal, in my opinion, the most phenomenal opportunity that exists today for vast numbers of people. Not one person winning the lottery and getting lucky, or one person inventing a product and finding a few investors, but for massive numbers of people to build wealth. Chad, anything you got, buddy?
You just remind me of a couple things, and one is, my son's sitting in the room over here, and when you start talking about Bitcoin, I look at him and go, man, I think it was about 300 when he said, buy some, Dad, buy some, and I was like, oh, I sure wish I would have bought some when he said that, and it got me thinking,
of them, right? Like 50,
like a lot, yeah. And I was thinking, Peter, how sometimes we just have to trust the process and give things like I'm all in. I know crypto and the blockchain is going to do exactly what you say it's going to do. And it reminded me of this company. I don't know if you've heard the story, you probably have, but in 1997, this little company was founded named Netflix, right? And in 2000, so they've been in business for 3 years. They're doing pretty well, but they thought, we've done well. Let's go ahead and sell the company. So they went to Blockbuster, who was the biggest name in town when it came to movies at the time. And they said, we'll sell our company Netflix to you for just $50 million. And they basically got laughed out of that meeting. Well, what happened, right? You don't hear about Blockbuster very much anymore. And last I heard, Peter, I think Netflix has over a $200 billion market cap, which would be a 4,000x. So if you and I, and maybe you didn't see it in 1997, maybe you didn't even hear about Netflix till 2005, 2006. I can't remember when we got a membership, but today, I'm sure there's not a person on here who hasn't heard of Netflix. And I believe
still going down to Blockbuster, right? And renting movies in those days.
Yeah, you're still getting the movies at the Red Box and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, I don't know if it'll be Otherverse or it's going to be True Badger, but let's just say I invest in 10 projects, between now and the next 5 years of Nexus ecosystem. I think we're going to have one that's 1,000x's, 5,000x's. I mean, I just do because of the whole way this whole deal is set up. And so I'm just excited, Peter. I'm buying all the stuff, man. You tell me green, I get it. You tell me blue, purple, Martians. I mean, someone would have told me 5 years ago.
I'm going to share my screen right now. So what does it cost right now for a large Starbucks coffee? What is it?
Probably close to $10, isn't it? $8, $10.
Probably somewhere in there, right? So at 9 cents, right here, we got the chart. This is a realistic chart, guys. 2010, 9 cents, 12 years ago, 9 cents, you could have bought it, right? So what would that be? For $9 a cup of coffee, you could have bought 100 Bitcoin. What's 100 Bitcoin worth right now? $3 million. Today, $3 million. $3 million. Would you have put up $9 in 2010 to have $3 million today? Well, yeah, I think the price for today was $30,000, right? Think about it. We have people that right here, when this happened right here, 2017, this crash, they came in and this actually went down to about $3,000. They said, oh, well, Doug said we should buy some Bitcoin, and they bought 8 of them for about $24,000. Today, those 8 are worth $250,000. $250,000. Guys, the opportunity exists. And it's not just, some kid in a basement that create a computer code. There is value behind this technology because it solves problems, and it is still in the early stages. I don't know if you can find a VC fund out there right now that is not looking to invest in blockchain technology.
Yeah, I think, Peter, at this point, it's become self-evident. It's no longer, blockchain is no longer in the wheelhouse of, it could stay, it could go. I think it's self-evident at this point. It's just a matter of, are we going to get in front of the wave when critical mass? I love that term, critical mass, because it's almost like in society, just this flip is switched. And when that flip is switched, if you're already in, that's when the tsunami hits, and then everybody wants in, and that's when these projects just.
Well, and critical mass is coming. So PayPal. So up until recently with PayPal, you could buy Bitcoin and you couldn't transfer it to other wallets. PayPal just did something interesting. They're getting ready to launch where you can transfer from, I can now get crypto on PayPal and I can send it to Chad, or I can transfer it to another wallet. The biggest companies in the world are moving to make it as simple as going and opening up your PayPal account, saying, I want to buy, just like depositing $500 in PayPal, I want to buy $500 worth of crypto, and go spend it and use it. It is getting very close, guys. We are within 12 to 24, maybe 36 months at most, where I can simply go, purchase, and use. We're getting ready to run our next NFT project. Our first few, we had to have crypto. So we had to get you a wallet. We had to get you set up. We had to put you in there. Our next crypto offer, you can use a credit card and you can buy as many as you like. This is where it's going to. Critical mass is coming. Instead of being 2% of the people in the world that have crypto right now, in the next 3, 5, 6, 8 years, it will be 60, 70, 80% of the people that have it. Where are you going to position yourself? You cannot have something grow by 30, 40, 50x in the number of people that are involved with it and not have it increase in the value of the entire market size. Anything else, Chad?
No, you got me excited. I just want to go buy some more crypto. I'm excited. I just know everybody needs to, everybody at least needs to get educated on this so they can make an intelligent decision, not their plumber cousin that says, oh, that stuff never going to last. I mean, they need to get the facts, right? So they can make an educated decision on what part of the crypto industry to get involved with personally. And so anybody that's on here right now, we would just say, get your questions answered. Do your own due diligence. Look into Nexus ecosystem. Look into True Badger. We have free help. You can go to help.truebadger.io. Is that it?
You got it, my friend.
You got it.
All right. You can go there anytime. I mean, during the day, regular business hours or whatever. But you can go there, and these people, you can ask them any question too. There's no dumb question. These people will spend hours if necessary with you. I've heard they've even helped people that don't even hardly know how to get their email set up, figure out how to buy crypto, which is mind blowing to me that people have that kind of patience. But anyway, they're there to serve, they're there to help. And so, man, just don't be a blockbuster. Don't turn down the Netflix for 50 million when it's going to be worth 200 billion down the road.
Especially when you think about the blockbuster story, because they're gone, right?
No,
not only did they miss the opportunity to make the money, they literally went out of business. They completely failed, from the largest to complete failure, because one decision to move in that direction would have completely changed the situation. There'd still be Blockbuster today.
Yeah, and
they probably would have changed the name of the company, right? They would have went from Netflix to Blockbuster Netflix, or some form or fashion. They would still exist today if they would have made a different decision. One decision would have changed history.
Oh, they could have renamed themselves BlockNet, and then they would have been ahead of the blockchain. I mean, if they'd really paid attention, right?
BlockNet. And then Blockbuster could have just went ahead and had their own NFTs, and they could be worth 250 billion today instead of 0.
Yeah.
I love it. I just appreciate you guys. I'm so glad. I know you guys are working hard every single day for all of the Nexus ecosystem community. And I just want to say on behalf of all the crypto holders like myself, we appreciate all you guys and the long hours and the hard work and all the artwork. Look at this True Badger tribe in the background here. I'm like, wow, you guys just keep it coming from all different aspects. And I love being a part of it. And
that's old school, Chad. That's Truman, the original Truman from a year ago. So we've grown up a little bit since then. So we went from old fashioned Truman to new Truman. No, new Truman. I can never figure out which way to point.
And real quick, guys, for people that like affiliate programs, we do have an affiliate link that you can get for True Badger, NSI, Safufy. These are our 3 tokens that are out there. If you share it with somebody and they do decide to acquire $100 worth of any of those 3 digital assets in $100 USDT in those assets, you will get a referral points, and those referral points can be exchanged for NFTs. They can be exchanged for temporarily True Badger tokens. So there is a way for you to get some Badger tokens without having to spend any money, just by referring other people and helping them get involved with it and be a part of it. So, and having them not miss out on this blockchain, whole thing, and be a part. I wish Jeff would have called me in 1995 and convinced me that the internet was going to be big, because I had 50 grand. I could have, in 1995, I had 50 grand. I could have gave him 50 grand easily. I could have wrote him the check. If I would have known today what I know today, are you kidding me? I would have tracked Jeff down. Seriously, any of us would have, right? And even if we didn't have the 50 grand, we would borrow it. We'd beg for it. We'd go collect cans on the side of the road, right?
Yes, sir.
To be a part of that opportunity. Well, here's your chance for a makeup.
Yeah, exactly.
A do-over, baby.
Second chance.
All right.